Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the first of the 14-part Microsoft SQL Server launch webinar series. Over the coming weeks, the past virtual chapters will be hosting various Microsoft speakers from the engineering and technical marketing teams who will discuss new functionalities and enhancements in SQL 2014. Before we get started today, I wanted to share some information about PASS, the upcoming Business Analytics Conference in May, and tell you a bit more about the Business Analytics virtual chapter in our next meetings. For those of you who may be new to the Business Analytics virtual chapter, let me take a moment to introduce you to PASS. PASS is an independent, nonprofit organization run by the community for the community. PASS membership is growing with more than 100,000 members worldwide. The organization supports data professionals who use the Microsoft Data Platform to connect, share, and learn through its virtual chapters, through its PASS Summit, Business Analytics Conference, and regional events including SQL Saturdays and SQL Rally. Please visit the PASS website at sqlpass.org to find out more. As a valued member of the Business Analytics virtual chapter, we're extending a $150 discount to the PASS Business Analytics Conference taking place May 7th through 9th in San Jose, California. Just use the discount code of BAVC04 when you register. The conference offers over 70 sessions by the world's top business intelligence and business analytics experts, and over 20 hours of networking opportunities with 1,000 data professionals from around the world. You'll walk away with real-world insights from companies such as Microsoft, Wells Fargo, SurveyMonkey, Yahoo, Intuit, as well as best practices, prescriptive guidance, and strategic vision. I highly recommend you find more about it today at passbaconference.com. If this is your first Business Analytics VC, make sure you join us again on the second or fourth Thursday, and sometimes the first and third, depending on what speakers we get, for more great Business Analytics conference. All meetings are recorded and archived for future viewing on our website. You can find our website at bavc@sqlpass.org, find us on Twitter at PassBAVC, or you can also find us on our YouTube channel. Now I'd like to introduce Miguel Martinez, who's going to share with us how Microsoft SQL Server 2014 is enabling familiar, powerful business intelligence. Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you, Melissa. Can you guys hear me?
I'm going to change the presentation slides over to you at this moment.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. So, hello, everyone. As Melissa said, my name is Miguel Martinez. I'm a product manager here at Microsoft, specifically in charge of the go-to-market strategy for end users for new service Power BI. Been in Microsoft for over a year. And it's exciting times for us. At least the way I see Power BI is like my baby. So you're going to notice that sort of passion when I talk about it. And then what I want to do specifically with this presentation is give you guys an overview of where we think BI is going today and where do we see all our product stack answering the questions that arise with those new trends and challenges that we see on the BI space. So let's get to it. Let me go to presentation mode here. And please let me know if you guys can see the full screen and the whole presentation.
Okay. Miguel,
so
let me
Miguel a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Miguel, let me make sure that we're actually seeing your screen here. I'm going to
Okay.
reshare it again.
Okay.
I'm going to change it back to you in a second. I'm sorry, we weren't able to see your screen, so I'm going to
Okay, no
try that
problem.
out.
Okay, what about now?
We can see it now. Thank you very, very
Awesome.
much.
No problem. Okay, so let me recap here. So trends. This is no surprise for anyone at all. We see some core trends, and then these relate exactly to the core investments that Microsoft has on the BI space. So again, no surprise here, data increasing 10x every 5 years, and 85% from new data types, which is one of the main reasons, one of the big investments that we have is to enabling those data source types into all the tools that we have. That's the data explosion piece. And then we have the consumerization of IT, people bringing their own device, using their own tools. So that's our second biggest bet, which is enabling BI tools, especially self-service, into the tools that everybody know. Excel is the productivity tool out there, and we know millions of users have Excel, and they like to do their analysis in Excel. So that's the second big piece of it. And then under that, of course, because everyone is bringing their device, we're trying to make that available on anywhere on any device, enabling people to not only author BI reports and information, but also consume that and collaborate in a better way. Okay, so this is, let me spend again a couple of minutes here. This is the usual view that we've seen historically on BI, and then give you guys an idea of where we think this is going today, which again is going to make much more sense when I show you the three big areas of investment that we have here at Microsoft. So you have these historically version of BI where IT pros and people who manage and secure the data have to go through a huge process before making information available for end users. So again, huge demand of end users to know and get insights on the data. You have the existing data that you have to curate, get from different sources, then making sure that the data quality is right, creating cubes and storing that data, and then at the end actually interacting with these end users where you have to provision that data and create the analysis reports and dashboards they want. A very time-consuming process, a lot of back and forth, which again creates a lot of workloads for the IT pro, and at the same time it's not the response time that end users are getting used to have. So what we see today is you are seeing in the market a lot of niche startups trying to cover that space, making the end user, giving more power to the end user to actually consume that data. So we don't have to go through this process. But the necessity of having the same secure information that we have on the previous process, and also making sure that the actual data is the one version of the truth, so you don't have end users tapping into different data sources and doing anything they want with it. It's kind of that struggle between the necessity of information, that very timely information that end users need, and then the bandwidth that IT pros and DBAs have to actually manage that data. So this is where, at least again, self-service BI, which is our big bet today, is tapping into. We are trying to give end users access to all these data sources, but at the same time giving IT pros and DBAs the option, not the option, but the capabilities to make sure that all the information that end users are getting is actually right. So what you have, what you've seen in the past is again like big enterprise BI vendors like Oracle, IBM, SAP, and then the niche startups that I mentioned before. The way we see Microsoft today is covering the whole stack from end to end, giving IT pros the option of managing this data, and at the same time giving end users the options and the tools in a environment that they're already used to access that data and create the reports, the dashboards, and get the insights that we want. And again, taking advantage of all the new developments that Microsoft has been building over the last 5 years, giving the flexibility to the people choosing how they want to get that data. It's either on-premise or in the cloud, but at the same time taking advantage of the cloud as a channel to actually create tools that are even more end-user friendly while keeping the data secure and stored where people want it to. So in Microsoft, we've been, as all you guys know, over the last 15 years, been working on a stack of tools that has been in innovation, like it's been having a lot of innovation, but at the same time trying to make it end-user friendly, which is a big part of our strategy. We will building the industry-leading analysis engine with analysis services, the most widely reporting tools used around the world. We've been empowering users over the last 20 years with a great deal of experience in building the productivity tools. Office right now is the standard, and if you have any other tools, you see that basically they're following our lead. We became a trust cloud provider. Is one of the only few companies that have our own world-class data centers. We have spent billions on cloud infrastructure, geo-redundancy, global locations, 999, uptime, SLA, you name it. And then some more consumer-friendly services like Bing. So what we've been trying to do is bring all that knowledge and all that research and all those resources into creating tools that take advantage of the consumer piece but also the enterprise piece to create this end-to-end stack like I mentioned before. And then on the forefront of big data, Microsoft has unique perspective on big data. We have invested heavily in building and running a big data platform to fuel and drive our business. We're managing hundreds of petabytes of data across our online properties, and we're adding actually 8 petabytes of data per month, running 20,000 jobs per day. So you can see there's a storyline here, there's a direction where we're going, and mixing these enterprise related tools with end-user tools, it's what I think is giving us like an advantage, being the only vendor that can actually offer that end-to-end story with the stack of tools that we have. So that leads me to the 3 main topics where you see our future investments going. I already mentioned self-service BI for the business analyst, empowering users with familiar tools like Microsoft Office, corporate BI for an audience of IT pros and DBAs to scale and manage data across the enterprise with corporate BI. And then a third piece, which is uncover deeper insights and predict forward with advanced analytics. So again, think about it as the 2 areas in the left as end users. You have the business analysts, the people that get that first try on unlocking insights on that data, and then once you have some sort of guidance, you have the data scientists and also some business analysts trying to do advanced analytics on that, predictions, forecasts. And then at the center of that, you have the IT pro, making sure that the data that these 2 audiences are tapping into is secure, is the one version of the truth, and it's available when they want it. So let's actually go into each of this to get more detail into what the investments are. So for corporate BI, we have a powerful integrated BI tools for the IT professionals. Dashboards and scorecards in SharePoint, so you can create dashboards and balance scorecards across the organization to allow the business to track the key performance. The most widely used reporting tool with reporting services, which benefit from the ease of consolidated management through SharePoint and security around that. An industry-leading all-app engine with analysis services, and efficiently manage data with master data services, data cleansing and matching with data quality services, and then data integration with the deployment and management of integration services. These, again, are no surprise for you all. You are all very familiar with it. And then part of that pitch and that investment is connect your data across on-premises, cloud, and devices. devices being a key piece of the self-service BI strategy that I talked about, but then again, giving all corporations and IT pros the flexibility to do on-premise or in the cloud with Azure. A few examples of this actually. If you're familiar with Power BI, you maybe have heard before about the data management gateway. Power BI as a service is thought about being a service that's delivered in the cloud. Actually, all the services live in Azure. But at the same time, we know that not allowing users and IT pros to tap into data that's on-premise, it doesn't make sense. So the data management gateway is actually the tool that we give you guys to for any reports or anything that you build on Power BI and that lives on the cloud in Office 365, you can connect that data to on-premise and at the same time schedule refreshes, which gives you the flexibility again to choose how you want to tap into your data sources. And then another example of extending on-premises to the cloud through Power BI is data search. So you have your data catalog, you have information around that, you have cubes, and the way end users tap into that information is usually, again, getting in touch with IT and trying to get access to that. The data catalog in Power BI allows you to upload the metadata that you have on all these databases so users can search directly into Excel which information they're looking for, and through that metadata and through that catalog find the cubes and tables that they're looking for. Again, seamless for the end user, saving a lot of time for the IT side of the enterprise. A good example, actually, we have a case study that you guys can always check on the CloudOS website, which is the Server and Tools website, where we have all the information available on all the stack of tools that we have. Yahoo actually is a great example of big data as actually big data. Yahoo can now provide more relevant advertising data, which has increased advertising spending and campaign effectiveness with powerful analytic insight provided by the Microsoft BI platform. You guys all know Yahoo. What we're talking about here in this case is actually targeting, analytics, and optimization workload that they have. Basically analyzing all the data of their users and trying to deliver the right advertisement at the right time. What they did is they sought more visibility into how customers are responding to ads based on different categories such as website, time of the day, gender, age, you name it. And by having this level of detail, they're actually able to help advertisers, which is how they actually get their resources, reach the targeted audience efficiently and to achieve the best return on their investment. This new solution has helped Yahoo improve the campaign performance and boost customer spending on advertisement. Like I said before, 24 terabytes of data and analysis service cube, and they're using this today. You can actually read more, again, on the CloudOS website if you want more details into how they deploy that solution. So let's move to the second area of investment, which is self-service BI. And again, excuse me if this is where I get excited a little bit. This is our little baby here, at least on my group. So you're going to see this is a major area of investment, and it's the latest one. At least we GA'd this on 3 weeks ago on February 10th. And if you haven't played with it, I recommend you strongly go to powerbi.com and start your trial today, because you're going to see that it's huge not only for end users but for anyone who wants to get insights into data. So the way we think about self-service, again, is an authoring piece, again, on a familiar tool which is Excel on our productivity suite, and then a cloud piece which lives in Office 365 and thinks about more of collaboration, sharing information, and consumption of BI. Everything through scalable, manageable, and trusted tools and resources. The way we think about it is, again, in Excel, we are thinking about enabling users to discover more data. If you talk with end users, that's going to be a huge problem. Like when you think about their process, we've done tons of research here. Actually, I was on the other side analyzing data not so long ago. Discovery of data and saving time, making sure that data is actually available and is trusted. It's one piece of that process that end users spend a lot of time in. So Power Query is the feature in Excel that allows you to do that. The data catalog that I mentioned before is delivered through the online search experience in Power Query, where you can just search, like you search on Bing, for information, and then depending on the metadata that you have on tables, on internal information, and also on public information, which our team has been cataloging over the years. Think about, for example, like a Wikipedia table where you have, I don't know, population information, and users usually didn't have the option of importing that with one click into Excel. So our team has been doing this crawling of the web and trying to make sure that we have all that information there. Then you move to the analyze piece, which is Power Pivot. What we're trying to do there is giving end users the option of analyze models without a concern about the size of those. So when we actually say hundreds of millions of data in Power Pivot, actually I've seen models like that. When you think about the restrictions that people had in the past with Excel, when it used to be 20-something thousand rows, then to 65,000, then to a million, that restriction doesn't exist anymore. And then at the same time, giving users the option of being as advanced as they want. You have the diagram view where graphically you can connect tables, so instead of doing the usual VLOOKUPs and index functions, people can just go with a drag and drop, connect different tables, or inside even Power Query, just merging two tables depending on what they want to do. And then the third piece, which is kind of the sexy piece, is the visualization piece. You have Power View where you have this inside Excel, you have this slide, this canvas where you just input different visualizations depending on what you want to communicate and the type of data you want. So if it's geolocated, you can have maps. If you want to show things over time, you use line charts with slicers, giving people the option to not only show a view that is going to be stuck in time, but also giving people the option to play around with that. So these are completely interactive. If you click on a year, everything else gets updated. That not only improves the process of unlocking insights, but also actually it's a better use of people's time when you have business reviews or meetings where you have management and analysts trying to discover new answers to the problems they have. This is a much better use of their time, and it's also more engaging, so you actually see better results there. And then we also have Power Map, which is this amazing new 3D tool. Think about it as a way of telling your story. So in Power View, you have some sort of discovery, some playfulness to it. With Power Map, what you can do is an astonishing tool that allows you to visualize data in a map that can help you tell your story, and that's the way that tool is built. You can create tours, you can add annotations, you can export even to video to actually drive people through the story, the data story that you're trying to tell. So this is the authoring piece, and again, enabling end users to have different tools to tell the story and to dig deeper into the data without just being in front of a huge spreadsheet and table that usually doesn't give them a lot of information. And then we have Power BI for Office 365, which is the cloud service that lives in Office 365, and it's based on the authoring experience that you have in Excel. So what's going on here? We have everything is SharePoint based. So we have first the Power BI sites. That's something that we call sites, which is this good-looking gallery where you can share the reports that you build in Excel and where you get the same experience through either Silverlight or HTML5 that people can consume on the browser without the need of having Excel on the desktop. And when I say you get the same level of interactivity, that's true. You can click on the slicers, you can click on the years, and all the other information gets updated. But that's not all of it. And actually, let me jump to the mobile piece, which is the third one. You get the same experience on every device through HTML5, but we also have mobile apps. Actually, the mobile app that we have today is for Windows 8, so any Windows 8, either RT or Pro device, you can download the Power BI app and you can consume all these reports with the same experience on these devices. And then anytime soon, I don't want to give dates, but we're going to have also other platforms added to the Power BI app, so we can give people more options to consume that data. And then the reason why I left Q&A for the end is this is the one that is actually getting more buzz around. Using, again, the power of having all these workbooks in the cloud, users can enable these models to be queried through actual plain English questions. You enable these models on Q&A, and then you start asking questions directly to the data, getting a visualization right in front of you as you're asking the question. Actually, on the short demo that I'm going to show you guys after, you're going to be able to see how that actually performs. The implications for these features are huge. Think about it not only like moving down the ladder, like you have IT pros and you have end users, then you have actually end users have to answer a lot of questions one-off and ad hoc. This tool actually allows them to share these models with anyone, and they can go and get the information that they need. Okay, so why don't we take a quick look at Power BI. So we mentioned Power Query before. I'm going to try to follow the same flow that I gave you guys. So trying to discover data first, and then show you a little bit what you can do with Power Query. So here we have Power Query. As you can see, we have tons of sources of information. Excel, CSV files from folder, from different databases, obviously SQL, IBM DB2, MySQL, and then the latest things that we added. You can even like get information from the Facebook API, from Azure, Blob Search, or even HD Insight. And actually, that's a good example that I have here too. Oh, data feeds, you name it. So actually, one that I really like, it's the from web. So the information that you guys are seeing here is this is a demo environment that we created. It's a company trying to estimate the impact of reforestation in Austin. So information as simple as the parks you have in Austin here. This is an official website from the Austin government. You just copy the URL, take it into Excel, load it, and then what Power Query is doing is actually mapping that website and trying to find data structures there. It will tell you all the options that you have, and then you can choose the one you want to work with. And then inside Power Query, without even moving into a spreadsheet yet, we're giving end users the option of cleaning up this data and doing whatever they want with it. So here you can see the same structure that we have on the website. We have by letter, you have all the parks, you have address, you have zip code, district, acres of land, and then alcohol. So like the most simple thing is there are some columns here that I don't want to use, so I just remove them. And as you see me taking these steps, you can see on the left that actually Power Query is saving those steps. There are two reasons for this. You can actually replicate the same query structure on any other queries that you want, and when you share these with other users, they can actually see what you did with data. So let me show you other things that you can do here. We don't want letters, so we'll just take those out. You can keep going. And then once you have cleaner data, you can actually go and say, use first row as headers. So that's the information you're going to have. And then the latest, like the last thing you can do is you need to tell Power Query which type of data you have. So in this case, acres of land, we know that's number. We change data type, and we go to number. This is going to be useful later because that's the way you tell the model what you want to do. So this is just a view of what you can do. I already actually saved this query here. So this is the way it looks after you imported all the data. And then the cool thing is, let me close this. Sorry about that. I just want to get a view here so I can close this. You can actually share these with the rest of the organization. So when you hover over this, you have the option of sharing. So we're giving end users the option of sharing this information with the rest of the organization. I'm actually logged into my Power BI tenant, and I can name this. Again, this is going to be the metadata, so we can say Austin Park information. And then what's going to happen is when I update this, this is going to be updated to the data catalog, and then other users can go into Power Query and search for this with online search. So remember I told you you have different options here, which is public information that Microsoft has been building a catalog on, things that I've shared, and then on the organization, if I go by Austin, the query that I just shared is going to be available for any other users in the organization. And they can tap into this data, they can see what I did to actually transform and mash up the data before I wanted it, everything. So let me give you another example. So on this model also we took some tweets from Austin that were outdoor related, actually not outdoor related, but outdoor, and then traffic, being stuck in traffic, being in the office, the kind of things that are not associated to parks. So we connect to inside here. We go to our tweets database, outdoor tweets. You get all the containers and the blocks you have here. And here we have the tweets database. So again, things that you don't want to use here, you can just remove them. The hashtags that we were interested in looking at were obviously not the ones related with office stuff, but with outdoors. This is taking a while to load. So for example, we wanted bike to work, we didn't want busy city, we didn't want in the office, we wanted outdoors and picnic, Sunday shopping, that was somewhere in the middle, so we actually wanted to measure that and then take away traffic. And then again, same thing. This is exactly what you get in Excel once you input this. We don't want the actual text of the tweets. We want lat long because we want to map that later, and then just getting rid of all these other stuff that we're not going to use. And then you just go and apply those query, and you get the data directly into Excel. And you can update these anytime, again, because it's going to be available as the steps that you save, and it's all going to be here. So then once you have the data, let me show you the way it looks. Again, we're giving end users a lot of flexibility so they can merge tables if they want to. Usually my preference, because building models, even if they're as simple as this one, it's something that I found very interesting. You have Power Pivot, where all the data that we talk about here, so for example, here are the parts. We have some information with the tweets, just the ID and the lat long, so we can map that later. Some historic information about tree density, commercial establishments around each of the parks for each district, air quality index on each district, that kind of stuff. And then you can take it all to the diagram view and connect these different tables just to drag and drop. It's that easy. So in this example, I think we have park name with park name, and then you're going to have a connection between those two tables. On park, and then district is going to be matched to stores in Austin, the park geolocation in case you want to map that, the historic information that we have by district mapped through districts, so we can have also allocation on that. Basically, the options are endless. And then also in Power Pivot, you can actually just go and create your own calculated fields. So if there's something specific, you want the average amount, the average number of establishments per district, you can just go and create a calculated field here, and you can access that later. Once you have all the data and all your model, this is where, at least I think, the fun part comes in. This is just a random power view on the data that's behind it. And when I talk about you guys about the interactivity that you get, that's exactly what we have here. If you click on a year, then all the information that is based in time, it's going to get updated. And when you have something that is, for example, in this case, zip code based or park based, if you click on that specific park, everything else is going to get updated. So let me show you actually one that has a map, so you can see the level of detail that you can get into. Here we have all the parks in Austin, which is the information that we just imported into Excel with Power Query. And then you have the different districts. You can color code that. You can have the tweets, which is the size of the bubble, the average air quality index, and then the number of tweets here. Oh no, and the bubble size is the park acreage. And again, everything is completely interactive. And people can just play around with it and get their own insights. And moving from the Excel piece, this is where it gets interesting. In Office 365, this is a SharePoint side. You can see that you have the Power BI app here. I took the liberty of uploading these workbooks before. into Power BI, and then we have a couple more workbooks here so you can see how the gallery looks. Close this. And as you can see, this is a nice looking gallery where, again, end users can go and interact with these dashboards. But the same thing that we just saw in Excel, you get into the Excel online version with the same interactivity, the same filtering, the same everything. This is taking a while to load. So here it should be the same dashboard that I just showed you guys. As you can see here, we have the HTML5 button. So this is Silverlight right now. You can actually choose to see these on HTML5. This is, again, the same view that we had before, just with different colors. And this is, I think, the most interesting piece. We have Q&A. Again, I took the liberty to take in the same model and enable it with Q&A. This is the Q&A interface, so it's just a text box and some previously saved questions. You have the option of also giving it an image if you want to show in a visual way what you're doing. So let's start with something simple, total tweets. So there you go. You have all the total tweets in the period of 2 days that we imported there. And then you can go total tweets by district. And then you have each of the districts and the tweets that go with it. And then we can go and force it as map. We enable the content here. And then what you're going to see is I force the model to split districts by zip codes. So you actually have the tweets that fall into each zip code depending on the geolocation that we found in those. Let's try another one. Let's try air quality index by year. So again, no surprise. This is actually summing air quality index, so I want to do average air quality index. So there you go, between 2004 and 2013, you see air quality index increasing, but again, we have this information by district. So we go by district, and then you have the view by district on the different measurement stations. And then if you want to keep digging, you can actually go and tree density. So we get a table. We want this as line chart. And then as you can see, because I asked by district, you get a view of each of the districts and how the tree density and the air quality index are changing. So again, trying to enable end users to just ask plain English questions and getting those visualizations right away without even the effort or going into Excel and creating that report. Report building is basically done here, and you just ask the questions that you want from your data and you get the answers. So let me get back to the presentation then. I assume maybe you guys have some questions, and I check with, oh, actually I see some question here. Sorry if I got this too late. SQL Server reporting services will be enhanced anytime soon. It all depends on what you define as enhanced. Right now, our big bet is it's Power BI, so it's basically the offering through the cloud and enabling corporations to tap into the data that they have on premise. So at least in the foreseen future, I don't think we have any major changes to SQL Server reporting services.
Miguel, I have some additional questions out here. Would you like them now or at the end of the session?
Actually, let's give them, I don't know how I'm doing in time. We have 20 minutes left. I think I can go through the rest of the deck in less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
And let's spend the last 10 minutes doing Q&A.
Will do. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Melissa. And then the last piece, which I'm going to go really, I'm going to cover really quick, is the advanced analytics piece. Cover deeper insights and predict forward with advanced analytics. So what we're talking here is basically advanced analytics tools for data scientists. Things that we're, like for example, that we're talking about here is advanced descriptive analytics, clustering algorithms in SQL Server, analysis services, predictive analytics, neural nets, regressions, further advanced analytics like semantic search and geospatial data, and big data analytics with Hadoop integration that that everyone knows that it's available today in Windows Azure. And then data mining for business analysis, the ease of use through Excel, same concept that we talked before for Power BI. Actually, not only Power BI features can be displayed through SharePoint, as you know, like anything else that you build on Excel, pivot tables or analysis like this can be shared through either Power BI, which is SharePoint side, or strictly through SharePoint. Rich data mining algorithms for clustering, prediction, forecasting, and scalable through SAS. The cloud case study, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but I think you guys have heard about this one before, most likely. Like I said, if you go to the CloudOS website at Microsoft.com, you're going to find links to all of these case studies, so you can get more information about the specifics on what these companies are doing. Actually, this is the last year version of the Business Intelligence Analytics Magic Quadrant. I don't know if any of you have seen the this year version, but you see Tableau and ClickView going up into the ability to execute, and then Microsoft being part of that pack, and then everyone else, especially the corporate BI solutions, being heavy on completeness of vision, but not in the ability to execute. So you have that pack of companies, again, this niche self-service BI tools that you see in the market, together with Microsoft, but with the difference of this end-to-end view that I mentioned in the beginning, which is something that you don't get with these niche startups. The complete Microsoft data platform in BI analytics, data enrichment and federated query, data management and processing, including Hadoop, streaming data, internal and external, through the cloud or on-premise, and then infrastructure, scalability, virtualization, security and identity, and quality of service with all their stack, which is Office, Azure, Windows Server, and SQL Server. And that's for today, so let's move to questions. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to answer all of them, and if not, we can definitely go back to you guys later.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. So excited about seeing some enhancements in the data mining and that side of things as well.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I get really excited when I talk about it. So. Excuse me for that already. It's like talking about my kids.
You know what? That's what we all wish for, is to have a passion in our jobs like that. So that's awesome. So one of the questions I had, I don't think you went over it, but is there any way in the BI sites to be able to schedule updates of your data, like new data pulls, like in a SQL agent job or something like that?
Yeah, actually, you don't do that through the BI sites. Actually, you do it through the admin center. Let me see if I can get to that to show you guys at least where that is done. So once you are in Power BI, and also like all support questions, like if you guys go to powerbi.com in the support section, we have pretty much a summary of each of the features that you guys can see in Power BI. There's information about the data management gateway, which is a way of connecting on-premise data to the cloud, and then how you can actually set up the scheduled refreshes. So let me go back here. So if you're on the Office 365 view of your tenant, and you go to admin, you're going to see, if you have admin permissions, you're going to see the Power BI Admin Center. This is where IT pros and DBAs can actually manage all the resources. So here you're going to see actual information of getting started with the Admin Center, where data resources, so I don't have any data sources loaded here, but if you do it through the data management gateway for on-premise stuff or data sources located in the cloud, once you include that here, then you go to your My Power BI site, and if you have a workbook that is tapping into one of those workbooks, sorry, of those data sources, that's where you can schedule the refreshes for for the specific data sources that you have. And I think you can go up to, obviously it depends on the data source, but you can go as frequently as 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And again, more information is located actually on powerbi.com. Let me show you guys, just in case. You can go ahead, Melissa, and ask me the next question. I just want to show people where they can go and get it.
Okay. This is relating to data mining. One of the attendees wants to know if the data mining was enhanced or it's really being re-advertised.
Actually, there's. I'm just thinking if I can share like what information I can actually share. I don't know if you guys have heard about Project Pasol. I can't remember the actual public name that we gave it. We've done a couple of presentations, I think, on the last past conference. So it all depends on where you're talking about. So in Excel, we're constantly updating advanced analytics add-ins and tools that are basically released on the timeline. If you're an Office 365 subscriber, those get updated right away. If you bought Excel out of on the box, most likely those updates are going to be there for you. And then specifically talking about SQL, everything should be, all the information should be on the preview side, on the SQL Server side. Specifically, I can't remember about any specific features being modified in SQL, but I would have to double check, and I can come back to you guys with that.
Okay.
And then regarding the new offerings, like I mentioned before, if let me see. Actually, let me go back to you guys with that too, like the actual public website of the announcements that we're doing on advanced analytics. I can share that with you later. But there's definitely investments on the near term around improving advanced analytics on all the stack of tools that we talk about today.
It would be great if any of the links that you're thinking of right now, if you could add to the end of the PowerPoint slide when I send it out to folks, that would be great.
Oh, okay. That's a great idea.
That would be awesome.
Okay. So let me take notes here to make sure that I include everything. So. Okay.
Yeah, just a quick comment from somebody regarding it's kind of more of a debate versus adding data visualization type features versus real true data analytics.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And, you know, that just providing visualization is kind of maybe shallow, and it takes away from the real data analytics and getting it, you know, having tools of getting into the data. So they were just looking for any response on that, or, you know, maybe like the area you guys are focusing in on.
Yeah, I would say both, and that's why we have them on that like that three-circle diagram that I show you guys. We recognize that need. We just see it as serving different audiences and being a different part of the process. Self-service BI, and I agree with whoever made that comment. You're not getting the depth analysis that you would want, especially for forecasting or making the actual decisions. What we are trying to enable through data discovery is two things. One is on the business side, a better use of the time in meetings and in conversations in collaboration to actually try to discover that first layer of insights that you can get looking at data as general as the one that you can visualize there. Also, it's going to depend a lot on the quality of the data that you have, and that's how we're trying to enable not only the visualization piece of Power BI, but also giving all the enterprise the option of making more granular and higher quality data available for these end users. But at the end of the day, the visualization is going to give you just a limited amount of insights if that's what you're looking for. And that's what we are trying to invest and enable that third leg of that process, which is the advanced analytics stuff that we were talking about. So I agree, the visualization piece is not going to give you a lot of depth and analytics into the actual data. It's going to help you get there in a different part of the process.
Right. Another observation from an attendee, you know, trying to think about how these Power BI tools fit into an actual corporate IT or business, and just talking about the fact that the IT resources are very scarce a lot of times, and you know, how does this kind of fit into a strategy? And my takeaway from this is, and you can agree or disagree with me, is it almost creates almost a different role in organizations of folks that handle the BI part that might be in the business or could be in IT. You know, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, that's a very accurate comment. Let me try to separate a little bit. If you remember the first part of the presentation, actually what we're trying to do here and what we're seeing is because of that increase in demand from end users to consume data, we see the resources on the IT side actually being very stressed. The pipeline of requests and of information and reports, it's obviously has gone up over time. What we're trying to do with Power BI here is actually the complete opposite. Is trying to free some resources from IT, giving IT the option of obviously spending more time up front setting up these data catalogs for end users to have the ability to find this data. But after you have that enabled, what should happen on the process is end users are not going to bug you anymore with specific reports or specific requests of data, or if they don't know how to write a SQL ETL, export this data for me. They should be able to find that data, and that's the discover piece that we were talking in Power BI, to actually free some resources from the IT side. The way, sorry, I forgot the second part of the comment, which I really wanted to touch. So you said resources from IT first, and then?
And then, you know, just trying to see where it fits in the organization. And my take was, maybe it's a different role that crops up.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Now, the different role, which is same thing, thinking about end users, you don't have the same level of knowledge on end users. You have people that are actually, we call them data stewards. Think about it as an end user that has a lot of knowledge on how to access that data and can pre-mash up and create different queries to make data more consumable to the rest of the end users. So that's the other piece that is huge on Power BI. We give end users the option of being data stewards, and then again it's the enterprise, the corporation that decides who those key people are, and they take away some of the workload from IT too, which means they're kind of a middle step into the process of making data available and more consumable for the rest of the end user community. So they're not pinging IT all the time with requests and more, basically more workload for them.
Right. Yeah, kind of yet to be figured out at this point. I guess it depends on you know what organization you're in. Fresh question here. Saw that Power Map will only be available in Power BI in the future. Are there any plans to restrict Power Query to Power BI? I think Power Map was released, right?
Exactly, it was released this week. And that's a great question because it leads me to something that I should have made clear on the presentation. Power BI as a whole, we promote it as the Excel features and then the Office 365 features. You actually get the Excel piece if you buy Excel. You don't need Power BI as a service in the cloud for it. If you buy anything from Office 365, Office Pro Plus up, you're going to get access to Power Query, Power Pivot, Power Map, and Power View. And that's going to be available for you. And again, you don't need Power BI as the service, as a subscription to get access to it. You just need your subscription or buying your copy of Excel. What our value proposition is that when you combine the authoring features in Excel with the Office 365 Power BI service, that's where you get what you're paying for, which is anything that you author and create in Excel gets uploaded into Power BI, and you can share that with anyone in your organization, and you get more features on top of it. Again, mobile consumption and Q&A, which are the big pieces of that. So to summarize here, the power features in Excel live in Excel, and you get them just by paying your license in Excel. The Power BI features which actually enhance the experience that you have in Excel are what we actually call Power BI. And then specific to the question, I can tell you guys if some things are going to be available or not in Excel, and we're going to change pricing. What I can tell you is what you see today is something that I think is going to stay for a long time, which is, again, anything in Excel you're going to get with certain licenses for Excel. What you see in Power BI, it's only going to get better because it's going to be a service more than an actual desktop version. So you're going to see future updates coming in every month, most likely.
Continue on with that theme. If we're just getting started with a BI project,
okay,
all we have is, all they have right now is a bunch of reporting services reports. Where do we start? Do we start in Office 365? What are some low-cost options? I guess if someone has Office 2013 Excel, that's probably a good place to start if they don't have, if they're not able to get onto Office 365. Any comments?
At least for the BI stack that we saw here,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, anything that's not 2013 is going to be difficult. Obviously, Power Pivot is available since 2010, so building models and analyzing that without visualizations could be an option. I think the main question here is taking a step back and when you say BI project, what are you trying to do? It's a big team where you're actually going to have to share and build dashboards together to find solutions to problems, or it's just a couple of people, a team trying to mash up this data and analyze it and get insights. On the last, if the case is something closer to the last thing I mentioned, small team, maybe doing something in Excel first before moving into the cloud would be what I would recommend. I would strongly recommend going with 2013 because of the capabilities that we just saw. If after that BA project is going to move to something bigger where you actually need to convince a lot of people or maybe other groups in different organizations, then I think Power BI is a good route to go because it's going to make it more consumable for the different parts of that conversation that you're going to have to convince to move forward with that project.
So if you actually started with Power BI and Excel, how would you share that with others? They're asking about that. If you don't have SharePoint itself, would that be just passing the Excel worksheet around in an organization?
Exactly, and that's what we're trying to avoid with Power BI. It's giving you an enhanced experience to actually share that. When you talk with the engineering team and you mention like sending an email through with an Excel file, they'll freak out. That's exactly what we're trying to avoid, and at the same time, not only avoid that, but enhance the experience of sharing that file. Having a conversation at the same time on different locations, looking at the same data and interacting with it instead of looking at a specific view or something, or maybe a table where you guys are like back and forth trying to find the actual correlations into that data.
Right. Trying to curtail the spread marks, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, got it.
Like the worst case scenario is sending that 50 megabytes Excel file through email, and then the email bounces, and like that's exactly what we're trying to avoid.
Okay. Regarding analysis services, were there any enhancements in the analytics UI for analysis services similar to ProClarity? Or is it just the Power BI meant to, satisfy that UI need for integration analysis services?
That's a good question. And it's kind of hard to me to answer that question without thinking about the whole stack of advanced analytics.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm going to default on that one and let me get back to whoever asked that question.
Okay.
if it's going to be available there, I can actually give you a much more detailed answer, taking a look at the whole stack and see what's coming.
Okay, if you want to just include that a link in the slides, that would be great too, so everybody can see. And there's one final question here. It's regarding training, and if you have any training resources for the new SQL 2014 stack. Or any plan that you know of, and maybe that's sharing a link as well.
Yeah, actually, the Microsoft Virtual Academy has a lot of material around it. So what I'll do is I'll include information for SQL 2014 and Power BI. Usually, we wait until we EA different products to come up with the big sessions that you find in the Virtual Academy. But I know for sure that Power BI has a full-day session that it's been released today, I think. So I'll make that available. And then I'll check with SQL 14 to make sure that we don't have that. If we have something, I'll make it available. If not, you guys have it on your calendar,
right.
Because for sure, right now we know what we're going to do around that.
Okay, so I'm assuming that it's going to be released, and probably at the PASS Summit there'll be a lot of sessions on 2014 as well.
Exactly, and that's going to be another place where people can tap into. It's not going to be actual training, but if you're going to pass this year, obviously you're going to have the on-hands lab and all that. But I'm sure there should be something available sooner than that, so I'll make sure to include it. And if it's not available yet, put a date on it so people can mark it on their calendars.
All right, I think we've gotten to all of our questions today. I thank all the attendees that asked such wonderful questions. I was trying to keep up with them. You kept me on my toes. Thank you very much. And Miguel, thank you for sharing all this great information. And we'll be posting this out, hopefully, on our YouTube channel. And you can also go on our website, which is bavc.sequelpass.org, and you can look under archives, and we'll have the slide text eventually and the recording out there as well. We'll also post the links out on our Twitter handle as well. So thank you so much for providing us with all this great content. Anything else to wrap up, Miguel?
I think that's it. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about this. We're very, very excited, me personally, and thanks all the attendees for the great questions. I'll try to get back to the ones that we couldn't answer right away as soon as possible. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And join us. You guys can join us on our next session on March 6th. We're going to be going over Power BI in the cloud and how to put out your tenant and how to configure things out in Office 365. We have someone from Microsoft Learning who will be doing that, so Patrick LeBlanc. So looking forward to that. Take care.
It's amazing. You guys should attend to that. He's such a great guy.
Yeah, he is. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.